All right. Raider Nation, welcome back to the Raider D podcast. I am your host, Mike Dean, aka the Raider D, and I am so happy to have you here today, guys. We're going to be talking about the 2025 NFL schedule in relation to our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is pre-draft. We have draft coming up here in a couple of days, but I just wanted to kind of go through the schedule as it is right now and give my breakdown on wins, losses, potentialities, all of that type of good stuff. So if you're hyped for the Raiders season, I'm hyped for the Raiders season. Let's get going, Raiders! All right, guys, now we already know that we're going to face the AFC West division rivals as we do every single year. So who would I be if I didn't start out with the AFC? But before I do that, I do just want to thank today's sponsor, and that is Aura.com/RDP is my link. If you want to get a 14-day free trial and get ahead of the game, make sure that all of your information is safe, have a VPN, have call forwarding, and all kinds of cool stuff. Plus, they'll do a dark web search just to make sure that your information is not being stolen and get that report back. And they will go and take all the data brokers who have your information, and they'll send them a nasty email telling them to take your info off of the web right then and there. And it's all included with your 14-day free trial. And I recommend that you even keep it going because it's pretty cheap, and having that data security, your own personal AI security guard, is absolutely worth it for your data. So check them out today. Link is down in the description. Use it and you'll get a 14-day free trial. Go sign up today, guys. Don't know if your information is out there or not. Now let's jump into the schedule here, guys. I'm hyped about this. Listen, last year the Broncos got us. We'd had them for several years, and it was a big disappointment to have them come back and just whoop on us the way that they did. However, I think that this year it is going to be different. So I'm going to start off with the Broncos and see what my thoughts are on them winning or losing against us this year. Now listen, the number one thing that we want to take a look at is that Pete Carroll is now the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He gives us instant credibility. This dude is a future Hall of Fame coach. He knows how to build an organization. He knows how to build a culture. He knows how to coach. And that is something that we have just been missing pretty much ever since John Gruden left and was forced out. We were finally starting to get some traction under him, and then he's forced out of the NFL. Hopefully that does not happen to Pete Carroll, because I'm telling you right now, I think Pete Carroll is going to be really good. But that's not the only reason why I think the Raiders are going to beat the Broncos this year, because listen, we know that they have a really good offensive minded head coach over there in Denver, but we now have our own offensive guru in Chip Kelly. The guy is a mastermind, and I think we're going to go toe to toe. Now, I think Geno Smith, being the veteran and a very steady hand at quarterback, going up against a Bo Nix who's only coming into his second year, I think he was a bit overrated last year. Teams are definitely going to know how to play him this year, and with all the game tape, I don't think he has as good of a game. Plus, combine that in with the fact that our defensive line is getting back to being healthy. We should have all of our starters out there. I think we get a dub, not once, but twice against the hated Broncos. Sorry, Denver country. You should just become Raiders fans. Now, let's go on and to the next, the redheaded stepchild that nobody likes to invite to a party or a wedding, and we are talking about the LA Chargers. Yes, every time we play them in their stadium, it is a home game for the Raiders, because nobody likes the Chargers, even in LA. They should have just stayed their butts in San Diego, but of course nobody liked them there either. Now listen, I know that we have a head coach over there, Jim Hardballs. He is a tough-nosed coach. He knows what he's doing. He's a winner. He gets a lot done over there, and they have their pimply-faced quarterback in Justin Herbert. But I think that the Raiders can absolutely get old Jim Hardy balls, because I think that, again, we're going against a Hall of Fame coach who has done it all, against a coach who won a national championship, sure, but he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Our coach has done that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Raiders are finally going to get that victory in SoFi Stadium this year. And I think we're going to take them out 2-0. That's my opinion on it. Drop your comment down below and let me know how you feel. Do you think we're finally going to get that dub there? Now, let's go on to the hated boys in red, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying. Patty Mahomer, I'm not buying it this year. He got exposed last year. He got exposed the year before by the Raiders in the Christmas game, where it was all about the defensive line and pressures. When this dude is pressured and he is contained on all sides of the defensive line, he panics. He's not good. He does not have the stellar performances that he has had over the past years. Plus, Travis Kelce is on the downhill. This is probably his last year in the NFL, and so I honestly think that the Raiders are going to get him here. I think we're going to bag at least one of the two meetings. Now, listen, I'm not going to underrate the Chiefs. I'm not going to say we're going to sweep them. It is still the Chiefs. They are still a really good, well-rounded team and a very well-coached team. So I think that the Raiders are going to play spoiler in KC, and unfortunately we may lose at home because we have yet to establish that home base culture in Las Vegas. Hopefully it will happen at some point coming soon. Now, I think that the Raiders are going to be, we will be playing Jacksonville Jaguars, so we're going to get into some of the other teams as well here. Jacksonville Jaguars, in my opinion, should be an easy dub for the Las Vegas Raiders. They should not stand a chance against the Raiders. So I'm not even going to go too much into them. I'm just going to mark this down as a dub. I think Geno Smith throws 4 touchdowns and Ashton Jeanty runs for 17 touchdowns in this game. That is if the Raiders draft the standout Ashton Jeanty. Let's move on to the Tennessee Titans really quickly. Again, Titans struggled last year, 3-12. They are terrible. They're going to have a rookie quarterback. Can he, compete with the Las Vegas Raiders and Geno Smith? I don't think so. Again, I think this is another team, another game that the Raiders should absolutely get a dub. I'm very optimistic with this one. I don't think the Raiders lose at all. Dallas Cowboys, tough game, always tough, especially we don't know if the Raiders are going to play in Dallas or Dallas is going to play in Vegas. In reality, it's probably not going to matter because even if it is in Vegas, it's probably going to be a sea of white and blue stars. Not the ones, I don't even want to get into the politics, but the Dallas Cowboys of it. They're blue star Cowboys. I think that they would probably show up pretty well to Vegas. A whole bunch of Dallasites. Is that what you call them? Dallasites? I don't know. I think they would show up there. Either way, they're going to have home field advantage over us, at least in the crowd. And so there again, Dak Prescott versus our quarterback in Geno Smith, very similar quarterbacks. It's really going to come down to who can establish the run and who can dominate on the defensive line. I think the Raiders can definitely dominate on the defensive side of the line if all of our starters are healthy. And if we get a guy like Ashton Jeanty, I think we can absolutely establish the run. So here, I'm going to go 50-50. I'm going to give the edge over to the Dallas Cowboys in this one, but I am very hopeful that the Raiders can pull out the dub. Then we go to the terrible New York Giants, a terrible organization, terrible ownership, terrible management. Everything is bad in New York. And again, they're not going to have a really good quarterback taking over. I know they got their veteran now and everything else, but again, pales in comparison to Geno Smith. I'm going to say this is a dub. And again, we beat them last time we matched up against them, and I think we're going to beat them again, especially Patrick Graham's going to have that defense fired up for his old team. Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. Listen, this one is really going to just depend on Caleb Williams. Is Caleb Williams going to be a star that day, or is he going to be a spud that day? Because you never know with Caleb Williams. He is a hit and miss type of quarterback. It's going to be year 2 for him. He could actually shine and take over in this game. However, he could throw a whole bunch of interceptions and panic and just run around with the ball like a crazy man. So again, this is a tough situation for the Raiders to play the Chicago Bears. They are always a tough team to play against. I'm going to edge us out here at 51% over 49% that the Raiders get the dub against the Chicago Bears because I think Caleb Williams is not going to perform well in his second year. Then we go up against Houston, Texas. Very well coached team, very disciplined. CJ Stroud is a very good quarterback and they have some absolute monsters on that team. This is going to be a tough one. I'm not sure the Raiders are ready this year, but if this was like year 2 of Pete Carroll, I think we get the dub. This year, unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and say Houston's going to get the dub over the Las Vegas Raiders on this one because they're just too stacked and too talented. The Indianapolis Colts, again, this is a situation where they have Anthony Richardson as a quarterback. He's not good, and I don't think he's going to get good. I think the Raiders should get a dub here. They're not a well-stacked team. The Raiders should be able to edge them out. I'm going to go ahead and say this is like a 60% chance that the Raiders get the dub there. Then we go against the Super Bowl champions in the Philadelphia Eagles. Ouch! Why do we have to play them this year? It really sucks. But I'm going to go ahead and say that the Raiders still have a chance because they're not, a perfect team. They do have some holes, but I'm going to give the edge out to the Super Bowl champs because they are really good. And again, they have the best running back in the NFL. It would be very interesting if the Raiders get Ashton Genty to really see who is the best running back in the NFL in that game. But again, I'm going to go ahead and give the edge over to the Super Bowl champions. Then we go against Jaden Daniels, my dream quarterback. I wish the Raiders could have got him. He over at the Washington Commanders. Again, they are just stacking a team, well coached, very, very impressive, good young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Going to be a tough game. Jaden Daniels is one of those guys who can pull magic out of a hat, rabbit out of a hat, whatever you want to call it. I think that Washington is probably going to get the dub here because I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a superstar. He was already a star last year. I think he becomes a superstar in year 2. Then we go to the New England Patriots. Again, a team without a real solid team. Now, it really just depends. Is Drake May going to become a star quarterback in the NFL? I'm not convinced at it right now. And again, they only went 3-12 last year. Yes, they're going to get a good draft pick this year. I think the Raiders definitely having Geno Smith as our veteran quarterback who is very steady Eddie is going to be able to edge out the New England Patriots. We get the dub there. Now listen, there are a couple of other teams that are not mentioned just yet because we don't know where they are, but I will say this in my closing thoughts. The 2025 NFL season presents a fascinating mix of challenges and opportunities for the Raiders with a new coaching staff and veteran quarterback in Geno Smith, the 6th overall pick for the 2025 NFL draft. This could be the beginning of something very special in Las Vegas. Guys, if you agree, drop comments down below. Let me know how you feel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next Raiders video. I had too much coffee this morning. Goodbye.